Hey everyone, my name's Kelvin, and I'm going to quickly show you how you can make a mandala just like this one using the Floral Bouquet Edition mandala creator. So the first thing you want to do is download that folder from Creative Market, and then go ahead and unzip it. And there's a couple files inside, and I'll show you what they are real quick. So inside that unzipped folder, it looks just like this. Elements and brushes, templates and actions, some extra files. Nothing in there right now, but if I make an update in the future, I might put some miscellaneous things in there. And then this is the README. This will have the links to this video and maybe some more. So in order to make this mandala creator work, we need a couple things. So the first part is actually a template and then an action script. So here's the elements and the brushes. And the elements is basically an AI file with 550 some little vector drawings that you can use with the templates. And it's also got the brushes. So these are the brushes. It's just 39 extra brushes that are sort of optional. You might find them useful. In this tutorial, I will use the brushes so you can see how those work. So the first thing we need is the template. So we'll open that up. So templates and actions. So this comes with three different kinds of templates: a two-sided template, a four-sided template, and a six-sided template. The two-sided template just reflects things vertically. So if you wanted to make a heart, for example, you'd just fill out one half of the two-sided template as half of a heart, run the script, it'll flip it over and you'll have the other half. The four-sided is anything with four-sided symmetry. So it works actually really nicely for a wreath. Where you just fill 1/4 of the wreath, run the script, and then it reflects and rotates the rest of the wreath parts around. The first one I'll demonstrate is the six-sided, and that's probably what you'll use the most if you're making mandalas. So I'll open this in Illustrator. I'm going to film this in Creative Cloud, but it works great in CS5 and CS6 as well. For some reason, my screen recording software doesn't work so good with those other versions, so I'm just demonstrating it in Creative Cloud because of that. So this is the six-sided template. You'll place your elements inside this sort of pie slice here, and then when you run the action scripts, it'll get copied and rotated, and then move the result over here, and then replace your original design. So if you wanted to make a small change, you wouldn't have to start over. You can just make the little tweak, delete the old one, and then select run the script again. So to get those scripts, they're action scripts, so we'll load those with the actions menu. So we'll go to Window, where is it? Actions, there we go. And if you see any actions here, I was playing with this before, so they're already loaded. I'll clear them just to show you how to load them. So if you see other actions, then you'll want to clear those, just like that, and then load actions. Navigate back to that folder you unzipped, and they'll be in the templates and actions. And since we've got the six-sided template, we'll go ahead and use the six-sided actions. So double click that. So these are the six-sided actions, and if it doesn't look like this, you need to enable button mode. So if it looks like this, they'll work. You have to select them and press the play button. It's no fun. So just select button mode, and then the scripts will run as soon as you select one of these little color-coded buttons. So the next thing we need is the Floral Elements. So we'll go ahead and grab that. The Floral Elements are in the first folder here. 569 Floral Bouquet Elements. So we'll drag that in. Go, yeah, just like this. And so we've got leaves, flowers, branches, butterflies, birds, bees, ribbons. Everything you'll need to make basically an unlimited variety of mandalas, bouquets, wreaths. So less is more. I think in a six-sided mandala, you might only need a few different elements, especially if you're making a coloring book. It's not a good idea to make a super dense, complicated mandala because when you print it out on your 8.5 by 8.5 book page, the design's going to be really dense and maybe a little intimidating to color. So we'll select maybe 2 or 3 flowers. So I'll select that, and then you can just do copy and paste, but I also included a script, so you can copy that. Back to the template and paste. And then let's get some little ones. How about those? And then we need some leaves as well. So I really like these ones. Paste those. And I'm also going to use the brushes. So to load the brushes, you'll open up the brush panel and then go to the menu, open brush library, and then other library, and then back to the folder you unzipped. It'll be in the first one. Brush file 39 vines and stems. Sometimes it loads already kind of collapsed, depending on which version of AI that you're using. But just open it up, and those are the brushes. So I want to make, usually when I use the 6-sided template, personally I like to do, first I'll do the brush, the vine, and then I'll place the flowers, and then I'll place the leaves. So that's usually the order that I work. So let's move these things off for now. I'll use the pencil tool. So let's find something simple. So I'll just draw a nice little vine. If it doesn't apply, just select it, and then you can just select one of these directly. Sometimes if you use the pencil tool, it won't immediately select the brush, even if you've got it selected over here. So there's a nice vine. So one of the scripts I've got here is the move to front and move to back. There's keystrokes, and you can do the menu command, but if you want to, for example, move this vine behind the flower, just click move to back and it'll immediately jump out of the way there. And these are really little flowers. I might place those at the very end to sort of close some gaps. Let's make that one a little bigger. You can scale up or down, but depending on your settings, it might actually scale the stroke width. So if you're scaling the floral elements and the stroke width is getting wider, then like I'll show you, for example, if I went to preferences and general, and I unchecked this scale, not scale quarters, where is it? Scale strokes and effects. If I do that, then when I scale things, it'll also make the lines thinner, which is no good for most illustration purposes. So since these are stroked vectors, what you can do is we'll set this one to a 1-point stroke, which everything else is, and then make sure that in preferences, general, make sure that this is unchecked. Make sure that box is not checked. And then whenever you scale things using the little grabbers in the corner here, the line thickness will always stay 1 point no matter what. If you don't want to mess with any of that, you can just use these. I made these two scripts, shrink and grow, and those will work properly regardless of whatever settings you have in preferences. So let's grow that one a little bit. And I think I need another flower, something bigger to go here. I like that one. Copy, paste. Oh, pasted it twice. Sometimes my pen tablet double clicks. I'll swap these actually. So I'm going to run the script just to see what I'm dealing with here. I'll move these guys off the artboard. When you run the script, make sure nothing else is on this checkered box. Otherwise, it'll get kind of sucked in. So select everything you've got so far. And run the copy and reflect script, for example. These both do really similar, but there's a slight difference. If I do the copy and reflect script, what'll happen is it'll just mirror everything, right? So now where I had the flower on the edge, it's stacked on top of itself because it's just mirrored. So anything over the edge, in this case, will just be reflected back on itself. But I'm going to use the second script, the copy and rotate. And this doesn't mirror anything. It just copies and then rotates it around. So now the flowers, they're not occurring on top of each other because they've been sort of copied and then rotated and then copied and then rotated all the way around 6 times. So right now I see I've got a collision happening here. So I might move this one a little further up and this one more on the center of the vine. Once you get the larger elements placed in a good position, it becomes easier. We'll delete that. Copy and rotate. That's a little better. Looks like I could move this one over just a tiny bit. I'll put it right there and then run the script again. Okay. So now it looks like the corner of this flower is hitting that. So let's maybe rotate it just a tiny bit. I think that'll work. Delete the old one. Run the script again. I'm pretty happy with that. That looks good. I think I'll put a nice leaf here, maybe a leaf kind of sweeping in there, something like that, and then fill in the gaps. Yeah, that's pretty good. And at this point, it's not likely that I'm going to change this. Remember the vine that I used, it just has the brush applied. So if I want to change it, right, it's just going to like alter the brush. I want to actually alter the lines at this point. So what you would do if you're done editing a brush stroke, one of these vines, just click this red button at any point, and what that does is it just expands the brush stroke. It's actually now made like any other of the vector elements. So if I increase the stroke width here like this, the line will get thicker instead of the whole vine getting thicker. But 1 point is good for now. So let's add a leaf. And I've got some rotate scripts as well. Rotate left, rotate right. This script is a duplicate, and then you can use the flip script to flip it from right to left if you want to create an opposite leaf or a pattern. Rotate 30 degrees, that's just a big rotation. And that's pretty much it. These are all things you can find up here in the menus, but hopefully these might speed up your process. So I'm going to fast forward the video for now, but I'm just going to be placing some leaves and putting some stuff to fill the gaps, and then I'll get right back to you. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with this arrangement. This is what it looks like after I run the script. There's a nice little hole in the middle, so I'm gonna put a flower there. So I'll go shopping again, and I think that one's pretty nice. I'll copy it, paste it over here, and I'm gonna align it to the center. So if you select two things in Illustrator, and then select one of the things again, then you can use these alignment tools up here and see how it sort of placed that in the center. I put a pin here, and now it's totally zeroed in on the center. Maybe I'll grow it a little bit. There, that's pretty nice. So this mandala is essentially done. If you haven't run the expand brushes script, you might do that at the end. If there's no brushes to expand, then it'll just throw this warning. So just do stop or continue, it doesn't matter. And then if you want to export this mandala, don't try to export it from this document because it has this background and stuff. Just select the whole mandala, go ahead and group it, and then create a new document and make it something like we'll do 1000 pixels by 1000 pixels, a nice square. And then paste it in. Whoops, wrong one. Yeah, after you group it, copy it. Copy, and then paste. There. So let's maybe grow it a little bit. Okay, that's a nice mandala. At this point, you could increase the stroke thickness. You could give it a 2-point stroke. I think a 1-point stroke is perfect for most applications. If you're making a coloring book, don't send them a smaller line than a 0.5 point pixel stroke. That would be the thinnest you'd ever do is 0.5. 1 point is perfect for most coloring books. So after it's you're happy with the stroke thickness, it's centered on your document, then you'd export it. You'd go File, Save for Web. 1000 pixels is a little bit small. If you're sending it to like an 8.5 by 8.5 inch coloring book, you'd want to export it at 3000 pixels by 3000 pixels. This is a good size, and then it'll load it there. But one important thing is right now it's set at JPEG. Send them a PNG when you make your PDF. Use PNGs in there. Sometimes JPEGs get blurry on the edges, so then you just save it just like that. Save it to your desktop somewhere, and then use it when you build that final PDF or submission for the coloring book publisher. So this is how you use the 6-sided script. I'll show you how to use the 4-sided script now to make a wreath. So we'll go to File and Open. Here's the 4-sided reflector template. We'll open that. Now it's a little bit different than the 6-sided one, but it really works the same way. It has some guides here. You'd make your wreath between these sort of concentric lines. You're just working in this square. Things can go over the edge, just like the other ones. They'll just be reflected back on themselves or rotated around, depending on which of these scripts that you use. But actually, these are the 6-sided scripts, still loaded up from previously here. So I'll clear those and then load the 4-sided ones. So it'll usually remember the last folder that you were browsing in, but the scripts are in the templates and actions, and then 4-sided actions. So same deal. We just arrange some elements in here, and I'll start with one of these brushes. They're vines again. So this will be kind of the center of the wreath. And while that's selected, I'll browse through here and look for something kind of nice. I think that'll work. And then we'll go back to the all these floral elements, and we'll choose some leaves and some flowers. Let's try something a little more detailed for the wreath. I think these will work. Copy, paste, and then maybe some smaller leaves too. Paste. Okay, and then we'll grab some flowers. Let's see. I think those ones are nice. Those two as well. Okay, so we'll place the, we've got the vine first. Next we'll place the flowers. Maybe something like that. And then these little, whatever they are, buds or something. One there. One over here. And you can just draw some stems to connect them. So I'll just draw a line that goes like that. And then apply one of these sort of needle-shaped brushes, because they've got a kind of a taper to them. So it's in the front, so I'll send it to the back. And that's how you make a branch that kind of comes out of it there. We'll move this one over using the arrow keys. And same thing for this one. we'll do something cool. Send to the back. So I'm trying to stay, you can make your own guides, but I'm going to try to stay inside of these two dotted circular lines here. And flowers are on, so I think I'll do the leaves now. So let's grab this one. It's sort of leaning the wrong direction, so I'm going to use the flip. And anything that, since I'm going to use the copy and rotate script, anything that goes over the edge will show up over here because it'll just be rotated, 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 and then it'll appear over here in the end. So I'm going to try to place something here, but keeping in mind that this end will end up over here. Let's move this guy a little bit down. So I can put one of these leaves here. So I'll run the script just to see where I'm at. But I want to make sure that I get everything off of my artboard here. So move these guys over to the edge. Just anything on top of this this gray area or this white area will get sort of included in the script. So we'll just select what we want to flip around, and then I'll run the copy and rotate 4 sides script. There, see, it's appearing just over there like that. So yeah, it looks a little diamond shaped, but I think it's just an illusion. It needs something here and something here to kind of round it out a little more. But it looks like I'm happy with where this is happening. I might just turn this flower a little bit so the end of this leaf sort of goes in there. And at this point, I'll fast forward it again, and then I'll get back to you when I've got a more refined result. Okay, so I'm happy with this arrangement, and this is the result. It looks pretty nice. Occasionally I've got some areas where stuff is appearing on top of other things, and I'd like to change that. So I can select this wreath, and it'll all select together because it's been grouped. So I'll go to Object, Ungroup, and then I can select the individual parts and see where this vine is on top of the leaf. I can just select the vine and send it to the back. Same thing over here. Send to the back. There we go. And just double check to make sure nothing else is in the wrong order here. This looks a little bit wrong, so I'll just send. Oh, that's right. Because I sent the vine to the back, now these guys are a little bit more forward. So I got to send those to the back as well. Okay. There, I think I got them all. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. Obviously, depending on how large you make your elements, it'll depend on how detailed the final result is. If I doubled the sizes of all these, I'd be able to fit fewer elements, but I'd have a slightly more simpler, less detailed wreath, which is good for some applications. This kind of wreath is perfect for a coloring book. Like, for example, you could make a coloring book cover where you have the name of your coloring book in some brush font and some details about it, something like that. This is the kind of image that would look really good on a cover. Or if you wanted to use it as a design inside the book, you could put some saying inside or something like that. And then to export this, don't export it from here, just select it. We'll group it again, so now we don't get it separated. And I never ran the expand brush script, so these are still live brushes. I'll just run that before I continue. So we'll select it and copy. We'll make a new document, 1000 by 1000, and we'll paste it in. Maybe scale it up. And then just export this the same way we did the other one. You'll go to File, Save for Web, and then if you're saving it for a coloring book, then you'll do something like 3,000 pixels by 3,000 pixels as a PNG. So that's how you use the wreath creating aspect. You could create anything else in this template, anything that'll fill this square. You could make a square mandala, just fill in this entire square. You could make a mandala with that's square on the outside, but it has a circular gap. So instead of you placing your elements here, they're further back, and this is filled, this is filled, this is filled. So when you run the script, you could have a mandala that has a open center where you could put some words or some saying, or even use this for the coloring book cover. There's one more template. That's the two-sided one. It's pretty self-explanatory, but I'll show you that real quick. File, open, two-sided template. And yeah, it's really similar to the four-sided. It just has one extra little box here. So instead of reflecting things around, it just does one thing. When we load the two-sided action scripts, there they are. It just has one copy and reflect. It doesn't have a copy and a rotate. So basically, any elements you place on this side will just be copied, flipped over, and placed over here again. So I'll do a quick demo of the two-sided template. I'll make a heart real quick. So if you go to the Layers panel, toggle the heart guides. So make sure the other ones are invisible, and it's just the heart guides that's visible. And it's just a faint dotted line right here. I don't know if you can see that on the video. It shows up a lot better on the screen. So I'm just going to place my elements inside this and then run the script. Okay, I'm pretty happy with this arrangement, so I'll clear the other loose elements off the artboard, just like that. And it'll reflect these flowers on the center on top of themselves, and I'll just delete the extra ones after I run the script. So, one more flower there. Okay, so we'll select everything, and then run the copy and reflect two sides script. There we go. Our results over here. And it's done these flowers on top of themselves. So I'll select it and then ungroup and then delete the unnecessary ones. And then move them all the way to the front. Selected them all, move to front. And there we go. At this point, you could add some variation. If you didn't want it to be totally perfectly symmetrical, you could modify some things. Move some things around just a bit. There, really just like that. And then you'd export this the same way in a separate document. So hopefully this is a pretty good overview of how you can use Floral Bouquet Edition to make some unique artwork in mandalas and wreaths. If you have any questions, you can leave a comment. But the best way to reach me is to just send me an email directly. Other than that, guys, thanks for your support and thanks for watching.